All right, so there's two different ways that I can show you how to do number 5 on Trig 10. One way is to write triangle trig, and another way is to use the law of sines. And I'll show you both ways, and you can see what you like better. So there is this tree, and this woman is staring up at the top of the tree, and her angle of elevation is 36.7 degrees. And then she walks 50 feet further away from the tree and looks up at the tree again, and now her angle of elevation is 22.2 degrees, and the question asks how long is the tree, and we are assuming the tree is perpendicular to the ground, that it's completely standing upright. All right, so let's first try this doing right triangle trig. So let's call this length here, let's call this y, and I'm going to set up a ratio for this first little triangle. So I'm going to say the tangent of 36.7 equals my opposite over my adjacent, so x over y. I have two variables, so I need another equation. So let's set up a ratio for this bigger right triangle, and I can say the tangent of 22.2 equals my opposite over my adjacent, and now my adjacent is going to be y plus 50. All right, now we have two equations and two variables, so we'll solve these simultaneous equations. So you can solve either equation for x or y. It doesn't really matter. I guess I'm just going to solve this equation here for x. And so I'm going to have y times the tangent of 36.7 equals x. And I can substitute that equation into this one. So I'm going to have the tangent of 22.2 equals x, which I've already now said is going to be y times the tangent of 36.7 all over y plus 50. Now I just have to solve this equation for y. So I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to have y plus 50 times the tangent of 22.2 equals y times the tangent of 36.7. I'm now going to distribute this y and this 50 to the tangent. So I'm going to have y times the tangent of 22.2 plus 50 times the tangent of 22.2, and that's going to equal y times the tangent of 36.7. I'm going to get all my variables on one side and all my numbers on the other, so I'm going to subtract over this y tangent of 22. I'm going to have 50 times the tangent of 22.2 equals y times the tangent of 36.7 minus y times the tangent of 22.2. I need to factor out a y to get it alone. And if I have that, I'm going to have y times the tangent of 36.7 minus the tangent of 22.2. And now if I divide through by what's in parentheses, I'll have y alone. And now I just have to go to my handy dandy little calculator and put this in my calculator. So I'm going to have 50 times the tangent of 22.2. Now I'm going to divide that by the tangent of 36.7 minus the tangent of 22.2. Now I'm going to get 60.5. So I know y equals 60.5, which is wonderful. Except the equation really didn't ask me for y, it asked me for x. So I can go back to this equation right here and substitute in y. So I can say 60.5 times the tangent of 36.7 will equal x. And I've already got this into my calculator, so I'm just going to say times the tangent of 36.7, and I get y equals 45.1, and it said round to the nearest foot, so I know the tree is 45 feet tall. All right, that's one way to do it. Let's do the same problem now, and let's use the law of sines. So again, my picture is not changed. It's the same exact picture, right? This is going to be 36.7. This is 22.2. This here is 50. Right there. And once again, they're asking me to solve for the height of the tree. And this is really a triangle. It's just, there we go. All right. So now I can look at just this little skinny triangle, and I notice that this angle here and this angle here, those are supplementary. They form a straight angle, and so I know I can take 180 and subtract 36.7, and I know that this angle right here is 143.3 degrees. And now I have two angles, and in order to find this third angle, I can just take 180 minus 143.3 minus 22.2. And I know that this little angle up here is going to be 14.5 degrees. So now, if I look at just this little skinny triangle, what I have is 143.3, 22.2, 14.5, and this is 50. And I want to find this length right here, which would be the hypotenuse of this little right triangle. So I'm going to use my law of sines to find this variable z. So I'm going to say the sine of 14.5 all over 50 is going to equal the sine of 22.2 all over z. Now I can cross multiply. Z times the sine of 14.5 equals 50 times the sine of 22.2. And I can divide by the sine of 14.5. And they'll cross out on this side, and I can go ahead and put that into my calculator. 50 times the sine of 22.2. I'm going to divide that by the sine of 14.5. And I get that z is 75.5, roughly. All right, so now I know that this here is 75.5. Well, now I can use right triangle trig because I can say the opposite over the hypotenuse, and I'll be able to find x. So I can say the sine of 36.7 equals x over 75.5. And then I can just cross multiply. And so I know x is going to be the sine of 36.7 times this 75.5. Now, once again, I already have that number, that 75.5 number in my calculator, so I'm going to keep all these decimals and just multiply it by the sine of 36.7, and I get my tree is 45 feet tall. So either way, whichever one you think is easier for you, but either way will work.